Anxiety. We all know it. That familiar feeling of unease, the racing thoughts, the tightness in our chest. In today's fast-paced world, anxiety has become a constant companion for many. We worry about our jobs, our families, our health, and the state of the world. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the constant barrage of information and demands, but here's the truth. Anxiety is a natural human emotion. It's our body's way of signaling that something might be wrong, a primal instinct designed to keep us safe. Just like we wouldn't ignore a physical pain, we shouldn't ignore the whispers of worry in our minds. Instead, we can learn to listen to them, understand them, and ultimately manage them. Think of anxiety as a wave. It may rise and crash over us, but it will always recede eventually. The key is to learn how to ride those waves, not let them drown us. We can do this by equipping ourselves with the right tools and strategies, simple yet powerful practices that can help us navigate the choppy waters of anxiety and find our way back to calmer seas. One of the simplest yet most effective ways to calm anxiety is through the power of our breath. When we're anxious, our breathing becomes shallow and rapid, fueling the feeling of panic. By consciously slowing down our breath, we can interrupt this cycle and activate our body's natural relaxation response. Try this. Find a quiet place where you can sit or lie down comfortably. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose, counting to 4. Hold the breath for a count of 2. Then slowly exhale through your mouth, counting to 6. Repeat this cycle for 5 to 10 minutes, focusing on the rise and fall of your abdomen. This simple breathing exercise, known as diaphragmatic breathing, can work wonders in moments of acute anxiety. It helps to slow down your heart rate, lower your blood pressure, and ease muscle tension. Think of it as hitting the pause button on your anxiety, giving yourself a moment to regroup and regain control. Anxiety often stems from our thoughts racing into the future, worrying about what might happen. We get caught in a spiral of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, losing sight of the present moment. The key to breaking free from this cycle is to ground ourselves in the here and now. One powerful technique for cultivating present moment awareness is mindfulness. Mindfulness is about paying attention to the present moment without judgment. You can practice mindfulness anywhere, anytime, by simply tuning into your senses. Notice the sights, sounds, smells, and sensations around you. Try this. Take a few moments to focus on your senses. What do you see around you? What do you hear? What can you smell? What sensations do you feel in your body? By focusing on our senses, we anchor ourselves to the present moment, breaking free from the grip of anxious thoughts about the future. Often, our anxiety is fueled by our own negative self-talk. We have an inner critic that constantly judges, criticizes, and doubts us. This inner voice can be relentless, whispering fears of failure, rejection, and not being good enough. The first step to taming our inner critic is to become aware of it. Start noticing the negative thoughts that pop into your head throughout the day. Don't judge yourself for having these thoughts, simply observe them. Once you're aware of your inner critic's voice, you can start to challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought really true? What evidence do I have to support this thought? What would I say to a friend who was having this thought? Often, we're much kinder and more compassionate to others than we are to ourselves. By treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding, we can start to quiet the negative chatter in our minds. Section 5. The joy of imperfection. Perfectionism is a close companion to anxiety. We strive to do everything perfectly, to meet impossible standards, and when we inevitably fall short, we're consumed by self-criticism and doubt. The truth is, perfection is an illusion. It's unattainable, and ultimately it's not even that interesting. Embracing imperfection means letting go of the need to control everything and accepting that mistakes are a natural part of life. It means giving ourselves permission to be human, with all our flaws and imperfections. When we let go of the need to be perfect, we free ourselves from the shackles of anxiety. Try this. Instead of striving for perfection, aim for good enough. What would it look like to let go of the need to control every detail and simply do your best? What if you allowed yourself to make mistakes and learn from them? Remember, progress, not perfection, is the key to a fulfilling life. Section 6. Cultivating calm in a chaotic world. In today's hyper-connected world, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the constant barrage of information, notifications, and demands on our time. It's important to create boundaries and carve out time for ourselves, away from the digital noise. One simple way to cultivate calm is to establish a digital detox routine. Designate specific times each day when you disconnect from your devices and engage in activities that nourish your soul. This could be reading a book, taking a walk in nature, spending time with loved ones, or pursuing a hobby. Remember, you are not obligated to be available 24/7. It's okay to set boundaries and prioritize your own well-being. By creating space for stillness and disconnection, you allow your mind and body to rest and recharge, reducing feelings of anxiety and overwhelm. Section 7. The power of connection. When we're feeling anxious, it's easy to isolate ourselves, to retreat into our own heads and ruminate on our worries. However, connection is crucial for our mental well-being. Talking to someone we trust about how we're feeling can help to alleviate anxiety and provide a fresh perspective. Reach out to a friend, family member, therapist, or support group. Sharing our struggles with others can help us to feel less alone and more understood. Remember, you don't have to go through this alone. There are people who care about you and want to help. Sometimes simply being in the presence of loved ones can be a source of comfort and support. Engage in activities that bring you joy and allow you to connect with others, whether it's sharing a meal, watching a movie, or simply enjoying each other's company. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, but in reality, it's the birthplace of connection, creativity, and joy. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to show up authentically as our true selves, we open ourselves up to deeper connections with others. Vulnerability means having the courage to ask for help when we need it, to share our fears and insecurities, and to let others see our imperfections. It's about embracing the messy, imperfect reality of being human. This can feel scary, but it's also incredibly liberating. Remember, vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It takes courage to be vulnerable, to let down our guard and allow ourselves to be seen for who we truly are. And in that vulnerability, we often find the greatest connection and support. Often, we're much harder on ourselves than we would ever be on a friend. We criticize ourselves relentlessly, focusing on our flaws and mistakes. Self-compassion is about treating ourselves with the same kindness, understanding, and acceptance that we would offer to a loved one. When you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed, try talking to yourself as you would talk to a friend in the same situation. What words of comfort and encouragement would you offer them? How would you remind them of their strengths and resilience? Remember, you are worthy of your own compassion. You are not your mistakes. You are not your anxiety. You are a human being doing the best you can with what you have. Treat yourself with the same love and understanding that you would offer to someone you care about. Overcoming anxiety is not about making drastic changes overnight. It's about taking small, consistent steps in the right direction. Start by incorporating one or two of the practices we've discussed into your daily routine. Maybe it's committing to 5 minutes of deep breathing each morning or reaching out to a friend for support. Remember, progress, not perfection, is the key. Don't get discouraged if you have setbacks or if it takes time to see results. Be patient with yourself and celebrate your small victories along the way. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a step towards greater peace and well-being. Managing anxiety is a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs along the way, but by developing healthy coping mechanisms and cultivating self-compassion, you can navigate the challenges with greater ease and resilience. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. There are resources available to support you, whether it's therapy, support groups, or simply the love and support of those around you. Believe in your own strength and resilience. You have the power to overcome anxiety and live a full and meaningful life. Take it one day at a time, one breath at a time, and trust that you have everything you need within you to find your way back to peace.